Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot. For today's pick a card reading, we have a topic that is all about improving self-esteem, improving self-confidence, pushing forward in life, which as you can see by the title below is what holds you back, plus advice in that area. So basically our reading today is going to cover a topic of what areas of your life have you been holding back or have been holding you back externally? You know, basically, metaphorically, a mountain in your path. And then we're going to talk about in the second section, advice on overcoming that mountain. How do you get to that peak? How do you overcome that and then get through life a little bit more smoothly on the path afterwards? Like I said, metaphorically speaking, of course. So without further ado, let's pick our piles. Today we are picking by the Eight of Swords from 3 different decks. If you're not familiar with tarot, Eight of Swords is the card of feeling trapped. Perfect for our topic today. For my pile number 1s over here on the left, we have the Eight of Swords from the Tarot of the Divine. For my pile number 2s, we have the Eight of Swords from the Ostara Tarot. And for my pile number 3s, we have the Eight of Swords, or Eight of Challenges as it's known in this particular deck. The Eight of Swords from the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. So feel free to pause here to meditate on the piles more if you have not decided which one calls most to you. Otherwise, when you have decided which pile you'd like read for you today, of course, drop down to the description box or the top pinned comment below, click on the timestamp for your reading, and I will see you in our discussion about what holds you back plus advice in that area. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number 1s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of what holds you back plus advice in this area. As you recall from the intro, you picked the Eight of Swords from the Tarot of the Divine deck, which is the deck we'll be using for your pile today. Lovely, lovely deck. It is full of folklore and myths from around the world. So we're actually going to shuffle this back into the deck so that in case the Eight of Swords does want to come out as part of your message, it is there for us to, or well, spirit to use, I guess I should say. So let's shuffle that first. Oopsie. Okay. I always say on my channel I'm not the best shuffler. Alright, so actually we're going to set that down here for a second. And then we also have some oracle cards I already drew for you today. So I'm just going to pick out the 3 for the first section of the area of your life where you've been held back. And then we'll talk about your advice later. So, okay, spirit for my lovely pile number 1s. Could you help me with 3 to 4 different cards explaining what's holding them back in life, please? What is holding my pile number 1s back? Okay, definitely that one. 1, 2, 3, and I think this one right here. Okay. Alright, pile 1s, what's holding you back? Let's look at your oracle cards first. We have from the Elle Qui Oracle, Nemesis, she who avenges, revenge, outcomes, justice. Okay, maybe a little bit of a battle between what's right and wrong, what's fair, what you put in versus what you actually get out, either with projects or with other people in your life. Okay, we'll see what else pops out before I say anything conclusive. We'll set that down there for the moment. From your Lantern Oracle, you received false beliefs, number 13, and I'll read the text here. It might be a little small to read on camera. Once the untruths that we believe about ourselves are illuminated, so are the ways we can release the false limitations that they confine us to. Perfect for what holds us back reading. False beliefs, okay? So there's something about false beliefs here with what's holding you back, pile number 1s, okay? I'm going to set this one down to the right. And from your Dream Ritual Oracle, you have the card of gratitude. Being thankful for things. Okay? Being thankful. There we go. Actually, I'm going to set these above. It'd be a little bit more smart of me to set it that way. Sorry, my pile 1s, you're always kind of my guinea pigs for the layout of the cards. All right, and let's look at your tarot cards. We have the Three of Cups reversed. Three of Cups reversed, something to do with social groups in a negative aspect, other people around you, okay? We have the Five of Pentacles or Coins reversed. Usually that's the card of poverty reversed. It's moving on from the lack of something, okay? We have the Hierophant, traditions, things passed down, legacy. The old way of doing things, okay? The way we've always done them. And then we have the Six of Pentacles or coins, which is the card of equal distribution, charity, giving equally. You can see she's giving the coins equally to each of these beetles, okay? So my lovely pile number ones, right off the bat, what's popping out at me for your what's holding you back reading today is there's something about the way... what's the best way to describe it? I almost think you don't believe that you deserve as much as you do. Okay? I think there's an issue here where you believe that you should just be grateful for what you have, and what's holding you back... Okay, let me rephrase that. That's a great thing to believe, or a great thing to ascribe to, okay? Being grateful for what you have. Gratitude here with this card. I'm going to just peel that back so you can see that closer. Gratitude, right? It is great to be grateful for what you have, because oftentimes unhappiness in life is when you're not grateful for what you have. So I'm not dinging you, and Spirit isn't dinging you for that type of belief, but there can be an issue when we ascribe to that value so much that we do not believe we deserve as much as we actually do objectively. Okay, does that make sense? I know it was a little bit of a word salad, so I'll summarize, right? What's holding you back, pile ones, is you don't ask for as much as you should. You don't believe that you deserve more than you actually do. Okay? You don't believe that you deserve what's actually due to you. And the reason I say that is because not only do we have this aspect over here with false beliefs, that is something to do with the way you view yourself. There's a false belief about what actually you deserve. We also have the card of not only the Six of Pentacles, like I said, is about equal distribution, right? But you also have Nemesis over here, she who avenges, and it's about revenge, outcomes, and justice. Okay, I think deep down there is a kind of knowing on your part that you deserve more from different areas of your life. I think you know it. I think it's just that you feel like either embarrassed or ashamed, those kind of emotions around actually asking for more. And I don't know, this isn't really a past reading, but I'm getting the sense intuitively that this could stem from maybe a childhood of being told to be grateful for what you have, maybe some poverty back there. You know, a lot of times that's how you survive poverty, is being happy with what you have. I mean, like I said, it's a good value to have, don't get me wrong. But I think what Spirit is saying is there's more in life that you could be asking for that would be given to you if you could just believe that you're worth it and you deserve it, okay? That's what I'm seeing here for you, pile number ones. Yes, be grateful for what you have, but don't be afraid to ask for more, especially if you know that you deserve more, okay? So, yes, it's like, how do I put it? And especially, it's I think it is for sure rooted in your past, because we have the Hierophant here, like I said, that's the card of tradition, that's the card of, well, this is the way it's always been. Especially right next to the Five of Pentacles reversed, which is moving out of poverty. I mean, it could even be that you're a lot better off than you were when you were a child. But that mindset, that mentality of, well, I don't need more, so I'm not going to ask for more, because of poverty or a lack of something, you brought it into adulthood, and it's still affecting you when you could be asking for more, okay? It could even be, the Hierophant can also, I see that card a lot too. It's not quite like the Ten of Pentacles where it's like the inheritance card, but sometimes I see it as like cultural values passed down. Maybe you're from a culture that really values frugality, making do with what you have, even if there's technically more available to you that you're just not taking because, you know, you value just being happy with what you have. It could be just family values, if not just cultural values, something passed down, right? something that your parents taught you. Maybe even your parents dealt with this too, and that's how they lived their life completely. And so you think, well, that's the way to live. But, you know, the Six of Pentacles here is saying, you know, there can be equal distribution. It doesn't have to be uneven where you, pile number ones, always have to take the short end of the stick and other people get more. Okay, that is the Six of Pentacles, and, you know, perfect symbolism right there. All right, same thing with the Five of Pentacles, like I said, reversed. That's moving out of poverty of some sort, especially being next to the Three of Cups reversed. Yeah, Three of Cups upright is typically the card of group settings, of parties, social gatherings, a group of people, right? Reversed, it's something negative is going on there with other people. So I think specifically, pile number ones, it probably affects your whole entire life. This feeling of, well, I should just be grateful for what I have, so I'm not going to ask for more. That mentality. But I think specifically because the Three of Cups reversed came out, what that is saying is it's especially prominent in areas of your life with social gatherings or groups of people. It could be whenever you're in a friend group, you tend to get pushed to the side. People don't pay it, you know, as much attention to you, and you think, well, you know, I have a friend group, and, you know, at least I have a friend group, so I don't really deserve more. I don't deserve more friends that are more attentive, you know, to me, that pay more attention to me, because you think, well, you know, I have the bare minimum, so that's all I need. Like that, it's that kind of mentality. Or, you know, it could be even that you've struggled in life with having friends that, you know, yes, they provided you social interaction, but there were a lot of setbacks or negative things about them that you overlooked because you thought, well, at least I have a friend. Things like that. Or it could be in general, in groups, you tend to get screwed over, just to put it bluntly. Could be even at work, for example. Maybe, you know, if there's a group project, or even school too. I mean, you know, all of us have been in school and have had a group project where we had to hold the majority of the burden, right? Could be at work and at school that you've always been the person at the group project that had to pull all the weight, that type of thing. Or even at work too. People maybe just kind of see you as oh, well, they're always happy just, you know, with what they have, so we're not going to give them any more because, you know, well, they're not complaining. You know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? That's kind of how other people, I feel like, have seen you, because you are so willing and so humble. And like I said, it's not a bad quality to have. It's just the problem is unfortunately there are other people in life that will see someone as generous and as humble and as sweet as you, and they'll look at someone just to dump more things on, or to not, you know, to not feel like they have to invest more time in. That type of thing, pile number ones. And the reason why this holds you back is because I think there's a lot more marrow to, who was that writer? Was it Thoreau? He talked about, I want to suck the marrow from life. I want to suck the marrow from the bones of life. Yes. Like there's more marrow to be driven out of your life that you've just been depriving yourself, or it's not really a blame on you, I guess. Other people have been depriving it from you too, okay? It's not just your fault. It's a two-way street of you not asking for more, and other people being like, oh, okay, well, I guess they'll just let me walk all over them, so I'll do it, because unfortunately there are people out there that will do that. We all know humanity is not always great, right? So, but yeah, so specifically in groups, pile ones. I think people tend to see you as the pack mule. They tend to see you as, you know, oh, well, I don't need to invest more in them. They'll just accept bare minimum, okay? It could even be a major life lesson for you, pile number ones, where the obstacle in your way with this life lesson is learning to know that you deserve more than everybody else's bare minimum, okay? You know, tangibly, like let's say at work, you know you haul, I'll put it politely for YouTube, you know you haul butt, right? You know you work really hard, you know that you're kicking butt, right? But maybe like your boss just says, well, they never ask for a raise, and someone else does, so I'll just give the money or the raise to the squeaky wheel that does complain in the department about not being paid enough, right? Which, you know, unfortunately, you know, you wish your boss would maybe look at it as, well, hey, this person's actually working hard, even though they don't actually ask for anything. But unfortunately, sometimes people just don't pay attention unless you do ask for things, right? So that's one tangible thing, like at work. Another tangible example is perhaps whenever you're in a group, you get spoken over a lot. You know, maybe other people direct the outings. No one ever really listens to you in terms of like, hey, here's my suggestion for this activity we can all do together in this social group, right? that thing. It's almost like people just walk all over you, and it's really unfortunate because, like I said, it's not your fault, pile number ones. They also have a responsibility to not be giant butts, of course, but like, just to put it politely for YouTube, but they have that responsibility. But on top of that, unfortunately, and you know, I 100% get it because I've been a pushover myself in my own life. I've struggled with this myself. I 100% get what's going on here, okay? Unfortunately, sometimes, I'll put it bluntly, there are dunces out there who don't understand not to walk on you until you tell them don't walk on me, okay? I wish people were smarter and I wish they weren't dunces, but people are, sometimes they're dunces, okay? And sometimes you have to put up a boundary there so that they know not to walk over it, because some people are just kind of, either they don't notice or they just don't care until they're made to mind, okay? Just kind of a little bit of a tough love message there. Sorry, there's a cat hair on my foliage there, sir. I always have cat hair. If you were in my other readings, there's like cat hair, and I have 2 cats, and they pop up all the time, or their cat hair does. Anyway, sorry. But yes, okay. So to summarize, what that's holding you back, pile number ones, is false beliefs about yourself, thinking that you should just be grateful for what you have, even though you could ask for more and you do deserve more. It's almost, if I were to say in one word, it's almost kind of like being not completely your fault, but a little bit of a pushover, okay? A little bit of a doormat. Unfortunately, like I said, not your fault, but there's other people out there that will see a doormat and they'll think it's a welcome mat to just walk all over you, okay? That's what's holding you back. You do deserve more, pile number ones, okay? You do deserve, okay? Part of that, like I said, we'll get to your advice in a second here, but yeah, part of that, I'm assuming what's going to come out, depending on what cards pop out, is letting go of that childhood belief that just because there was a lack in the past doesn't mean there always has to be a lack in the future, okay? It doesn't mean that you don't deserve more than what you're getting, okay? Okay, I'm going to take just a short little break to clear the desk here. We're going to talk about advice in this area, how to overcome this. I'm also just going to take a drink. Sorry, my voice gets kind of scratchy. A little bit of a pause. We're going to shuffle the cards here in 1 second, and then we're going to, actually 1 second, I'm going to look at your oracle cards a little bit just to make sure there's not any other messages or intuitive things popping out. You know, another thing, pile number ones, I want to mention to you is I think it's not only, if it's not only a childhood thing, I think because people have walked over you a lot in your life, it's conditioned you to think that that is all you deserve. It's maybe not just a poverty or like a childhood thing, like I said. It could be that, you know, maybe you struggled a lot with being more shy and sensitive when you were younger. And because of that, other people in different phases of your life have walked all over you. And so it's conditioned you to think that that's what you deserve, okay? Because like this card says, once the untruths that we believe about ourselves are illuminated, so are the ways we can release the false limitations they confine us to. Okay? All right. And then also, I mean, karmically too. I mean, look at your nemesis card here. Revenge, outcomes, justice. There is injustice being done to you, pile number ones, okay? You do deserve better outcomes, okay? All right, let us get your other oracle cards on the desk here. We'll talk about some advice on overcoming this. And then I gotta shuffle your deck here. 1 second. Okay, we'll do a quick shuffle after the riffle. All right, Spirit, for my lovely pile number ones. We'll do one more shuffle here, actually. For my lovely pile number ones, could you give me 3 to 4 cards on advice for them on how to overcome this being walked all over? Not asking for more matter. Okay, definitely that one. 1, 2. That one back there, and 4. Okay, my lovely pile number ones. Let's look at your oracle cards first of advice, how to overcome this. We have your Power of Surrender card. Surrender to receiving support and love. Allow love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, pile number ones. You deserve more support, okay? Intuitively, what I'm being told to say is just because you didn't receive the support and love, or you haven't always received support and love in your life, maybe even so far up till this point, doesn't mean that that's all you deserve, okay? You deserve people that support you. You deserve people that love you. You deserve people holding up their end of the bargain. You deserve people not walking all over you, okay? And apologies if you hear meowing in the background, my kitty's scratching at the door, so. And then we have Nature's Whispers, illumination, bringing things to light. Okay, there's maybe even areas of your life that you have to look at a little bit more closely to see where you're being walked on. Maybe you don't even recognize it sometimes. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting from that card. Actually, we're going to set that one up here. Lovely card, just looking at the moon. And your Healing Spirits Oracle is a spiritual hug. Very sweet. Spiritual hug. Your spirit team is all around you. Spirit guides, angels, etc. Whatever it is, your personal beliefs or your experiences, of course. A spiritual hug. Spirit sympathizes with you. Pile number ones, they want you to ask for more. They want you to feel more loved and supported, okay? Because what is the, sounds corny, but what is the universal truth but love, right? Okay, and let's look at your tarot cards you received. The Queen of Pentacles reversed. Okay, Queen of Pentacles is about internal security, okay? Reversed, it's all about asking for more internal security, knowing that you're worth more. Okay. Judgment is moving up into a different phase. Kind of as I was saying before, I think this might be a major life lesson for you, pile number ones. Okay. Transcending is another great word for judgment. The Lovers, relationships. Sometimes it can mean a choice, but I think because we were talking about social groups before, it could be even in romantic relationships, you don't ask for enough. Okay. And then we have the King of Cups, external mastery of emotions. I am secure in the way I express myself. That's a great phrase for the King of Cups. Okay. So pile number ones, to summarize your advice on how to overcome this being walked all over and asking for more. Okay. Number one, I already had a little bit of a monologue about the surrender to receiving support and love here. We saw that, right? Do not be afraid to ask for more support and love. Do not be afraid to set higher expectations for other people in your life, okay? People have to hold up their end of the bargain, and you deserve them holding up their end of the bargain of equal exchange in relationships and different agreements, okay? So that could be, like I said, love actually romantically. It could be familial love with your family. It could be platonic love with friends. It could be even at work. There's an agreement there of treat me well and I'll work good for you, or I'll work well for you, okay? Treat me badly and you get the thanks, okay? There's actually a really, really good song. I'll put it in the description down below that kind of talks about that. But one of the lyrics is something about the hand that feeds deserves to be bitten when it beats, okay? So when someone metaphorically beats, you have the right to bite, okay? That's what that lyric means. I'll put that in the description. Great band. It's called The Hand That Feeds, right? So, yeah, number one, do not be afraid to ask for more. We talked about that. Number two, your spirit team is all around you. They're encouraging you. You have a spiritual hug over here. They're supporting you in this. They're basically reassuring you that nothing bad is going to happen if you ask for more, okay? You'll be fine. They're protecting you. They're around you, okay? That type of encouragement. They're trying to show you that they have your back, I guess is how I would summarize that. Number two, okay, or I should say number three, actually, illumination. As I pulled that card out, you recall, I said something about, like, I think there's areas of your life where you don't even recognize where you're being walked all over, okay? So, a really good way of gauging whether or not something is wrong. Whether or not someone's taking too much from you, or asking too much, or walking all over you, is your emotions. And that's where the King of Cups comes in over here on the right, okay? He is the king of the suit of emotions. Of knowing what each emotion is, where it's coming from, and expressing it in a calm, collected manner. That's the King of Cups, right? When you get a bad feeling about the way someone is treating you, do not immediately jump to the assumption of, I'm too sensitive, okay? Instead, ask yourself, why am I feeling this negative emotion when this person does this thing to me? Okay? Like, for example, like, let's say you're at work and you've been kicking butt and you know you deserve a better, like, a raise, or at least to be treated better, right? And let's say you realize that one of your coworkers, who you know doesn't work as hard as you, gets a raise and you don't, even in like a similar title or position. And of course, like, your immediate assumption is maybe because of this mentality is going to be, well, maybe they really did work hard and I just don't, maybe I'm just not seeing everything that they're doing. No, when you have that immediate emotion, listen to it. That immediate emotion of, something seems a little unfair here. Listen to it. And as you listen to your emotions more with that King of Cups energy, you'll start to realize there's even ways that you're not recognizing that you're being walked over, okay? There's areas of your life where you could ask for more because you know that you deserve more, okay? You deserve love, you deserve support. Number 4, let's see, Lovers talks about romantic relationships. It could be another area of your life, not just social groups, where this is an issue to pay attention to, is even in your emotional, like, love, romantic relationships, okay? Look at your relationships where you've been a princess and the other person has been a beast, so to speak. Even if you technically think that you don't deserve more than a beast, metaphorically speaking, right? And recognize that you deserve someone that is of equal effort and puts equal effort into the relationship as you, okay? Let's see what any other messages of advice here. We do have Judgment. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's an indicator that this is a major life lesson for you, pile number 1s. Spirituality is another meaning of Judgment. Maybe even look into different modes of spirituality. If you're not already pretty invested in spirituality, look into, if you are religious, look more for advice on this area from the particular religion that you follow, okay? If you're not and you're more kind of generally spiritual like I am, for example, maybe explore one that you haven't explored yet and look at what they say about asking for more and receiving support and love, okay? Advice from different spiritual modalities, I guess is how I would put that, all right? And then the Queen of Coins reverse, like I said before, is about asking for more internal security, okay? Working on, I almost would say this is advice to work on your self-esteem, because one of the most common reasons we don't ask for more is because we have low self-esteem and think we don't deserve it, okay? We think we're worth less than we actually are, okay? The Queen of Pentacles upright is a queen that knows what her worth is, okay? Literally, the Pentacles are about security and the material world, okay? So even on top of that, that could even mean asking for more monetarily. Like I was saying, the job thing kept popping up. Make sure that you're valued at your job, which, like I said, really it should be your boss's job to know your value, but sometimes people have to be reminded, okay? Unfortunately. So don't be afraid to rock the boat. Don't be afraid to ask for more. Don't be afraid to tune into your emotions like a radio station and see what's playing, okay? Because that will illuminate more areas of your life where maybe you're getting walked over and you don't even recognize it, okay? And just know that your spiritual team is always behind you. They're always supporting you, and they want you to receive more support, more love, more of what you deserve, okay? All right, so pile number 1s, I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number 2s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of what holds you back, plus advice on overcoming that. Advice on breaking through this obstacle in your life. As you recall, the card used to pick your pile was the Eight of Swords from the Ostara Tarot, which is the deck we'll be using for your pile today. On the right here you can see. Actually, I am going to put this card back into the deck just to make sure we have all 78 options available for Spirit to get your messages across to you. Do a quick shuffle here, put that back in. And we also have some oracle cards like usual, 2 different sections. The first 3 are going to talk about what the obstacle is, what is holding you back. And then these last 3 we'll talk about later are part of the advice section of this reading. So we'll just put those to the side for now, and then we'll shuffle some tarot cards out. Apologies if you hear a cat scratching or meowing in the background. Spirit, for my lovely pile number 2s, can you give me 3 to 4 cards explaining what's holding them back in life? What's been holding them back? Okay, well, we have that one. That one really flipped out. Alright, we'll have that one there. Okay. Number 2, 3, and I'm feeling that one right there. 4. Okay. Set the tarot deck off to the side. First up, what's holding you back? Oracle cards we have from your Elle Qui Oracle. She Who Guides, Maputla, New Path, Guide, Renewal. Okay, maybe there's some obstacles in deciding what path to take. Where do I go? What's my North Star? We'll see what else pops out here. Put that down to the left. Lantern Oracle for today is number 15, Distorted Desire. Conscious desire rarely satisfies the unconscious need driving it. Okay, so yes, I think this is something about, it's something holding you back in terms of where you think you want to go in life. Or it's something holding you back in terms of you think something is your guiding North Star, but actually you need something different deep down. Does that make sense? Pile number 2 is, we'll talk about that more in a second here. And then we have your Dream Ritual Oracle. We have Illuminate. Lovely. Bringing light to something. It's something unconscious maybe you haven't recognized yet. And then we'll get your tarot cards down. First up, we have the 2 of Swords. What did I tell you? Making decisions. Where do I go? Which path do I take? Matches up perfectly. We have the Ace of Pentacles reversed, feeling like there's a lack of opportunity in terms of the material world. Could be a job, career. Okay. We have the 7 of Swords reversed, revealing deception. It could be something about you're tricking yourself in some way, pile number 2s. And I don't mean that in a negative connotation, but that is part of the reading, right? Revealing deception, revealing deceiving yourself. Okay. And then we have the, is that the 2 of Cups? Yes, the 2 of Cups reversed. 2 of Cups is typically about harmony, relationships, getting along with another person, being on the same vibe level, right? Reversed, it's all about a lack of harmony. Okay. Pile number 2s. What's going on here? What's holding you back? There's something in your life where the direction you're going is not what you're actually seeking deep down. A great metaphor I like to use is, I'm someone that loves to read and I write a lot, right? And what's common in stories, I'm just going to use this as an example to illustrate what I'm talking about. What's common in stories is, okay, have you ever read a story where a protagonist was seeking something, but they learned that they actually needed something else by the end of the story? I'm trying to think of a great example that is common to a lot of people. Oh, what's a good example? I'm trying to think here. I'll think Disney movies for some reason. It's coming up and popping up in my head. It's like a want versus an actual need. Let's talk about The Lion King. We'll use The Lion King for a second. Okay. Lion King. Simba got framed for his father's death, Mufasa, right? And he ran away from his past because he thought he was at fault. So what he thought he wanted was to escape the past and heal from it. But what he realized by the end of the story is he has to face the past to heal it. He can't just keep running away from it, okay? He had to actually face his fears and his past head on. And in doing that, he realized he wasn't actually at fault at all. and he healed from it. So that's just Disney movie. That's a good example, right? But that's what I'm talking about, because Simba thought he had to run from his past to heal from it. To heal from it, he actually had to face it. Okay, that's a want versus a need. So that's what's happening in your life, I think, here, pile number 2, is there's something you're running away from. There's something that you think you want, but actually it's not addressing the deep need deep down, okay? It could be something to do with career. It could be something to do with romantic relationships, you know, because we both got the Ace of Pentacles, which is, Pentacles are like career or money, and then you got the Two of Cups, typically a relationship type card, that type of thing. But whatever it is, to break through, we're not quite at the advice part of the reading, but I think to break through is where this Illuminate card comes from, is to actually shed light on what the deception internally is, okay? That Seven of Swords reversed, breaking through the trickster. You know, like raccoons, they're always kind of tricky. They always break into your trash can and they're being sneaky, right? Getting away with the swords from camp, right? Being tricky, deception. Reversed, it's unveiling the deception. What are you deceiving yourself about, pile number 2 is? And I don't mean that as a finger waggy, you know, oh, you're fooling yourself, you know. But a lot of times in life, we think we want something, but what we're actually seeking is something different. Okay? So another good example is, like, let's say, relationships. Let's use relationships as an example, other than the Lion King. Let's say you really, really, really desire love, okay? And maybe you're the type of person that has gotten into a bunch of different relationships where you thought you wanted love, you thought you wanted that person, but what actually you were seeking deep down was affection to feed your self-esteem, because you thought that you needed external validation from those relationships to feel good about yourself. Okay, that's just an example. That doesn't mean that applies to all of you, but it's something to that effect, pile number 2. Okay, and what Spirit is saying here is to unveil the internal deception here, okay, to find your North Star, to find what you actually are seeking, what you're actually wanting, right? Is making the choice. I mean, because even, okay, like, look at, okay, I don't even know if you can see this on the camera here. It's a little bit small. This blue jay, I believe that is, it has a blindfold on its face, okay? It's not seeing what it actually is looking for. It's blind, right? So what's holding you back, pile number 2, is, to summarize, is you're blind to what you're actually truly seeking deep down, okay? I don't see anything very specific, I think, because, you know, as a general reading, everyone's going to be a little bit different about what they actually want versus what they actually need, right? But in general, for you, pile number 2, is that's what's going on here. You're deceiving yourself about what you want, okay? Could be even a career path thing. Maybe you thought you wanted, what's a good example? Maybe you thought you wanted security, so you picked a job that was based on money, but what you really needed deep down was fulfillment. Okay, and that's why you're unhappy. A good indicator, pile number 2, is of what this is talking about in your life specifically, is where are you unhappy but you don't know why. Okay, like if you're unhappy with your job but you're not sure why. Like, you know, nothing's really fulfilling me here. I don't know why I'm so unhappy, because, you know, maybe the money's great and maybe the people there are nice to me, but there's just something that just doesn't click. There's a little bit of a disconcerting unhappiness there. That's your indicator. That's your guide to what this is, pile number 2 is, okay? Let's see if there's anything else I can pick out for you before we go on to your advice part of the reading, okay? New path. It could be that even you've been thinking about taking a new path in life, pile number 2s, but you're not sure where to go. There's maybe a little bit of what's holding you back is indecision, okay? Maybe because you don't know deep down what it is that you want. So part of that, like I said, we'll get to the advice in a section here in just a little bit, but part of that is finding out and self-seeking deep inside, okay? You know, maybe there's even a little bit of a shame around what you want, because part of acknowledging what it is you're actually seeking maybe requires some honesty with ourselves. You know, like, for example, like that relationship example I used. It's hard to admit that maybe you lack self-esteem, okay? You know, or if it's the career thing, it's hard to admit that maybe the thing that you've been seeking, that North Star you've been looking for, Because even too, there's like maybe a sunk cost fallacy here. The sunk cost fallacy is basically when you believe, well, I've already put all my efforts and resources into this thing and so much time into this thing, it would be a waste to walk away from it, okay? But the thing is that the fallacy is that it's a waste no matter what, because it's not actually what you're looking for, okay? Of course, there's benefits to everything, you know, even if you're, like, say, at a job that you're not actually enjoying. Yes, maybe there's a benefit of monetary gain. That's good. We want security in life. That's important, right? You know, maybe it's at a workplace that's great. Maybe it's done great things for your career. It's taught you a lot. That's fantastic. But there's still a deep-seated uneasiness deep down that spirit is asking you to listen to unveil the blindfold off of your face, off of your eyes, to understand where you're deceiving yourself, and knowing that there is something better out there for you. You just have to listen to yourself deep down inside and find out what that North Star to follow is. Okay, pile number 2, just to summarize. All right, I'm going to, let's see if there's any other intuitive messages. I was going to move on to the next section, but 1 second, I'm going to ask if there's any intuitive messages here. 1 second. I'm being told something about security. I think part of the fear you have about moving to what you actually want is you feel like it's a less secure option. Or you don't feel it's the right time. Because I'm being told something about red and green, and red and green I think about stop and go, like traffic lights. Yeah, there's some aspect of security in this. You want to feel secure, not just in terms of where you are and like what you're doing, but you want to feel secure in that you don't want to reflect on what it is you're deceiving yourself about, because it'll unveil, I don't want to say a flaw, I don't think it's a flaw in you, pile number 2s, but you fear it will unveil an issue that you just don't want to look at. Okay. And like I said, I'm not finger wagging at you. Spirit isn't saying, you know, how dare you, you know. Everybody does this. Okay. So don't feel like this is, you know, putting you in a shame corner. Everybody has issues that they don't want to look at deep down. I get, like, everybody I've ever known, and myself included. Okay. We run away from things. They're uncomfortable. We don't want to deal with them. But this is what is holding you back, pile number 2s. Okay. I'm saying this very lovingly and for your benefit. Take the blindfold off and realize what the issue is deep down. What do you actually want? Okay? That type of thing. All right, let's get to your advice section. And we'll shuffle your tarot cards. Actually, we'll take these off the desk first. Yes, it is the most difficult thing in life. Pile number 2s. I'm in no place to shame, okay? Like I said, we all have issues we don't want to look at deep down. We all have things we do thinking it's the right thing to do, but we actually know that we want something else and we're deceiving ourselves, okay? That is as common as bread, okay? That's probably a bad... Common as bread, that's dumb anyways. Sometimes I say dumb things, right? But as common as the day is long. All right, let's talk about your advice for this, pile number 2s. So first up, we have surrender. Surrender to passion. Yep, what did I tell you? Get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that actually ignite your passion and let it flow. I think this is probably a career for most of you, pile number 2s. You're doing something that doesn't actually ignite the fire in your stomach. It's something that makes you dead inside. But there's a little ember there. There's a little flame. There's a little spark of passion there that you're not listening to. Could also mean passion in terms of romantic relationships. You might be in a relationship where you feel dead inside. You're not actually feeling it. And I understand 100% that's really difficult because you think, well, I don't want to disappoint the other person. I don't want to break up with them and break their heart. You know, I've already poured so much into this. But deep down you know that it's not what you actually are seeking. Once again, we have I mean, her eyes aren't covered, but there's a mask on her eyes. Okay. Blind. All right, Nature's Whispers. We have Make a Wish. Dare to Dream, pile number 2s. What do you actually wish for in life? Okay. If you could, this sounds corny as hell, but if you could pick up a dandelion and blow on it and make a wish on it, what would you actually wish for? Okay. You know, do a little inner child for a second, you know, or partake in a little bit of inner child energy for a second. And if you have to, literally take a dandelion and blow on it, what would you wish for? Okay. What do I want versus what I actually think I want? Okay. I'll set this one up here, and then your Healing Spirits Oracle is success isn't what you have, it's what you do with what you have. Once again, pile number 2. So this is your spirit team telling you success isn't about how much money you have. Success isn't about material things. Success isn't what it looks like. Success is about how it feels deep inside. Okay, that's that card in a nutshell, all right? We'll talk about that more in a second. And then we're going to pull your tarot cards. Spirit, for my lovely pile number 2s, could you explain more advice on how to get over this blockage of what they want versus what they actually need? Or the self-deception? Oh, okay. Alright, 1 second. I'm going to leave that shuffled as it is. Well, 2 of them already popped out, but we're going to... Bloop! We got a sneak peek, spoiler alert. Okay, and then 2 more. 3, and pick that one. Okay, 4. Alright. Once again, we kind of already saw these, but the Hermit reversed, coming out of our shell. Going within and then coming without. What have we learned deep inside? Okay. We have Justice. What's fair? What's right? We have blindfold imagery once again. Okay. That's very common here. We have, yep, okay. So you have what I call a hammer reading. If you've ever viewed my videos before, pile number 2 is a hammer reading is when there's a repeated message that's really hammered like a hammer on a nail in. The Devil reversed, freeing ourselves from what chains us. Yep, you're completely stuck somewhere, pile number 2s. You are locking yourself in a cage. Okay, and then we have the 6 of Wands, which is victory. Victory. There is happiness out there for you, pile number 2s. You can triumph over this issue, okay? All right, let's talk about advice. So we already talked about surrender to passion, okay? That card is all about what actually ignites your fire deep inside. So one piece of advice from Spirit, pile number 2s, is think about what actually gets you excited. Think about what actually gets you out of bed every day. What is it that excites you about life? Okay, is it maybe a creative hobby? Is it maybe a career you've been thinking about, but you think it's too frivolous to try because where you are is secure right now? You know, is it in terms of romantic relationships, is there something that you desire more than what you're getting out of your relationship right now? Which, like, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to leave your partner if you have one right now, if that's the case for you. It could be just talking to your partner about, well, hey, you know, there's something I really want, and I was wondering, you know, if we could talk about that and compromise or discuss this together, right? Relationships are all about compromise and collaboration. That's the whole point, right? So could be just talking about that, or it could be, you know deep down that this relationship is not working out for you, and you know that this person will not change to meet the desire that you have. And so part of that is accepting and admitting, I'm not happy where I am and I need to move on. Okay. Surrender to passion, right? Make a wish. What would you actually wish for, pile number 2? So what do you actually want? Like I said, tap into some inner child energy. Take a dandelion, blow on the seeds. What wish would you make? Or you could do birthday candles. Okay. What would you actually wish for? Could be career. It could be a different relationship that fulfills a need that isn't being fulfilled now. Could be if you're single, it's wanting a relationship. Okay. Things like that. Number 3, success isn't what you have. It's what you do with what you have. Okay. Once again, this is not about being successful isn't about security. I mean, okay, so security is important, don't get me wrong, okay? But success isn't about the external manifestation of what it looks like I said. Success is about how it feels inside, okay? So a common example is someone goes through a career that's really lucrative, but they're absolutely miserable in that career. Would you say they're successful if they're miserable, even if they're making money? Is misery success? Okay. Obviously, most people would say no, right? So part of success is actually, what does the trophy look like to you? What does the finish line look like to you? What is the award for you? Okay. Is it money, or is it actually something you can be passionate about? All right. And then we also have your tarot cards. We talked about the Six of Wands is the card of victory and success, right? I think it's encouraging you that if you do follow your passion, if you follow what you're actually looking for, pile number 2s, you will find victory and success if you just take the choice to free yourself from what or where you are already, okay? Hermit reversed is all about coming out of our shell, admitting what it is that we want, okay? Not hiding it away, not being ashamed of it. And then we also have Justice and the Devil reversed, okay? Justice is all about kind of what it says on the tin. This is Maat from Egyptian mythology. She's weighing the heart versus the feather on her scales. Sorry for the sirens in the background for 1 second. She's weighing the heart and the feather on her scales, okay? Weigh your heart in this matter, pile number 2s. Okay, where does your heart fall, okay? What is it actually seeking? And, and part of justice, too, is what you're actually owed. You're owed, or at least you deserve a life where you're happy and you're not miserable. You deserve a relationship where you're not miserable, okay? It could even be some of the issue here is you just don't think you deserve more than what you have. You don't think you deserve freedom. And the same thing, the Devil reverse is all about freeing ourselves from what chains and binds us. It can be, freeing ourselves from a bad relationship, or at least a relationship that just isn't working out, and we know it deep down. Freeing ourselves from a career that's chaining us. It's just, basically, it's like you're wrapped up in chains, pile number 2s. And you know that the chains are there, but you're not admitting it, okay? And so what Spirit is saying is to first admit that there's chains that are holding you back. Think about what would take those chains off. What do you actually seek and desire? What does victory and success look like to you deep down? And then making a plan and acting on it, okay? That's how I would put that. Also, you got a lot of major arcana cards. In my readings, I always tell people I tend to see a lot of major arcana cards when there's a major life lesson of your life path. Okay? This is it's probably something you actually probably struggled with your entire life, okay? Admitting what you actually want versus holding it deep down, okay? That type of thing. Yeah, a lot of blindfolded imagery. It's everywhere. Jesus, okay. Yeah. So to summarize your readings, pile number 2 is what's happening here is there's something you want deep down that you're not admitting to yourself, okay? And Spirit is encouraging you to admit it to yourself and seek that thing that you actually desire, because you will find success if you just break out of your chains and follow that dream, follow that North Star, okay? I mean, the imagery I'm getting is like, so oftentimes the North Star Polaris is used in navigation, right? It is around the Earth's metaphorical pole, right? We see it, that's where we always know where north is when we look at the North Star, hence its name, right? And it's like you're kind of aligned to a different star that isn't your true north, that isn't quite right. And this whole holding you back thing is realigning your path back to where that goal is, okay? It could even be that this is a matter of you're almost kind of going towards that North Pole, and it's like, so it could even be that you're in a career that technically matches what you desire, but this particular job in that career, maybe it's like a company culture issue, is not doing the thing that you actually want to be doing, or it's like the goal of this company is not meeting what you actually desire out of your work, okay? Like a good example would be, like, let's say you work for, let's say a healthcare company, okay? And your desire deep down is, I want to help people, I want to heal people, okay? But the problem is that it's not really the career that doesn't match for you. You're in the right career, but perhaps that particular company doesn't actually give a crap about healing and helping people. They just care about, like, let's say money. That's a very common issue with companies, right? So part of this might be even admitting that, yeah, you're on the right path, but you're not in the right vehicle to get there, okay? Things like that, okay? So that's how I would summarize your reading pile number 2 is don't be afraid to readjust, okay? So as always, I hope that reading was helpful for you in my lovely pile number 2s. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number 3s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of what is holding you back, plus advice in that area on overcoming this obstacle. As you recall, the card you used to pick your pile was the 8 of Swords, or Challenges, from the Forest of Enchantment Tarot, which is the deck we'll be using for your pile today. We have a figure wrapped in thorns, feeling stuck. So I'm actually going to put that back into the deck and then shuffle, so in case that's part of the message that wants to come out, we can have Spirit have that option. All 78 cards of the tarot deck. We'll give it a nice shuffle. Okay. And the reading will be in 2 sections. We'll first talk about what it is that's actually holding you back. So we'll talk about these 3 cards, and then these 3 are later for the advice part on how to overcome that. So we'll set those down here with me. And let's shuffle your tarot cards. Spirit, for my lovely pile number 3s, could you explain more about what's holding them back? 3 or 4 cards, please. Flip out or stand out. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, and I think that one's standing out. Okay. My lovely pile 3s. Get our ducks in a row, or owls, I should say. Let's look at your oracle cards. Elle Qui Oracle for today is, we have She Who Instigates, Regina. Leadership, Provocation, Power. Look at that intense stare. And she's also got a snake around her neck. That's intense. She even got horns. Being bold. Alright, we'll see what the other cards pop out, but I'm already getting sort of a message here. Pile number 3 is about being not being afraid to stand in your power, okay? Your Lantern Oracle is, oh, look at that voice. Number 30, you are here to be known, so speak and be seen. Well, okay, we'll see what pops out with your other card. This is already kind of coming across. Quite blunt. Alright. And then your dream ritual is strength. Okay, yeah, this is kind of what it says on the tin. You have, I always say in my readings, when you get a reading where a lot of cards are a similar message, I call it a hammer reading because it's like a hammer hitting a nail again and again. Pile 3 is be more bold, but we'll look at your tarot cards, of course. Explain more in detail. First up, we have the Seeker of Visions. Okay. That is the Knight of Cups in most decks. Taking action in terms of how you feel. All right, this repeated message we're getting here. We're playing our lyre. You have 2 cards with music here. It could even be your musical, right? We're not afraid to play that music, okay? We're not afraid to make a sound. We have Suspension, which is the Hanged Man in most decks, perspective. What would we see if we flipped the other way? We have the Keeper, which is the King of Wands, reversed. Okay. Asking for more confidence. Yep. You have a hammer reading, pile number 3. Spirit is very blunt. All right. And then we have the Forge, which is... Oh boy, which card is that? 1 second, I'm sorry. Number 14. Sometimes this deck trips me up. The Forge. God, why am I blanking on that? I'm sorry, 1 second. I don't normally look at the guidebook, but this deck is kind of confusing me for a second. I'm kind of embarrassed, actually. I should know this. Number 14. 1 second. Major Arcana. The Forge. Temperance. Okay, I'm sorry. That's Temperance. That card tripped me up. Temperance. Temperance is all about balance and about harmony. The reason why I think they use the Forge in this deck is hot heat from the Forge, fire, and then water cooling it down to create, you know, iron or swords. Temperance. Okay, sorry, that tripped me up. Had a bit of a brain fart there. Okay. So, pile number 3s. Yes, you have a hammer reading. Similar message repeated. In summary, what Spirit is saying is what's holding you back is you're too afraid to step into your power and say things. Okay, you're too afraid to step into your strength. You're too afraid to venture knowing that you can do it. Okay? You're too afraid to say things, to ask, to demand, to make an opinion known. Okay? Okay, what's coming to my mind, and this sounds corny, but those of you familiar with my readings, I love corny stuff. That's my jam, right? You should be more of a queen boss, okay? Like, so corny as shit. Okay, but be more of a queen boss, all right? Step into your power, all right? You have a lot more value in what you say and what you think than you think you do. And there's a lot of value to be gained from other people listening to you. There's a lot of value to be gained in saying, putting your foot down and saying, here I am. I'm getting Elsa from Frozen, actually. If you're familiar, I use a lot of Disney references too in my readings. I'm getting Elsa from Frozen vibes here. Step into your power, put your foot down, okay? And say, hey, here I am. All right, maybe even watching Frozen would be good for you. Maybe it's a spiritual message from your spirit guides and spirit in general way. But being a queen, Regina, is, I believe, Latin for being regal, being queenly, being strong. Like it says, leadership, provocation, power. Don't be afraid to provoke. You could be similar to pile number 1s, or maybe a lot of times you're a little bit of a pushover. Not that I'm wagging a finger at you, or Spirit is not wagging a finger at you, but they're saying it for the purposes of wanting you to know that you have the right to be seen and heard. Okay? So, we talked about stepping into some queen boss energy, right? Some yes queen, right? Voice, you're here to be known, so speak and be seen. Specifically, I get like blocked throat chakra energy vibes from this. I think the best way, or the way that they're saying that you are reluctant to step into your power is with your voice. So that can manifest in different ways. That can mean someone asks you for your opinion, and maybe your first inclination is, oh, I'm not sure. Or, I don't know, I don't think my opinion is valuable, okay? It could be manifest in a way where you say things like, you have creative projects, right? Maybe even music. Here, we got a lot of music vibes here. You got 2 cards with lyres, okay? Or I should say harps, maybe lyres. And you're afraid to put yourself out there in terms of your work. You know, it doesn't have to be music. It could be any creative project. But in general, I'm getting vibes of needing more confidence to put yourself and your work out there, okay? Yeah, Seeker of Cups is the Knight of Cups in most decks, or Seeker of Visions, I should say. That's about being willing to explore emotions, willing to take action on your emotions, okay? Maybe even deep down, you feel unheard. It's just that you may be a little bit afraid to step into that power more. And part of this is stepping into it, being willing to explore that emotion and listen to it and say, hey, I have something to contribute here. I have something of value that I think other people should listen to, because probably they should. Pile number 3 is okay. The Spirit is saying that there is value in what you have to put out there, all right? It could even be, too, we have Suspension. Suspension is the Hanged Man in most decks, right? That is the card of perspective. You know, part of the issue, I think, is that there needs to be a flip in perspective on yourself of believing that you have more value than you think you do, okay? Even maybe a perspective shift on if this is creative work. Maybe your first inclination is to look at something that you created and go, oh, well, that's just crap. But actually, if you looked at it a different way, you know, if you stepped more into your power and understood the value that you bring to the world, right, you would understand that there's a lot of value in the things that you create, okay? And then we also have the card I forgot earlier, which is Temperance, the Forge in this particular deck. Balance. Temperance is all about balance. Hot and cold, okay? Life doesn't need to be completely silent on your part, okay? life is all about listening and speaking. You don't have to be the listener all the time. You can be the one that people listen to. Okay? And then the Keeper of Spells is the King of Wands. This is reversed for you specifically. That's asking for more energy in that area. So the King of Wands, to summarize on the tin, that is the card of being confident, charismatic, being willing to put yourself out there more, okay? That is the card of fire, which in tarot is willpower and creative projects as well, passions, right? Being willing to put your things out there, okay? Like, hey, look, I have this, this sounds good. Apparently you're the corny pile today. Maybe corny humor gets across to you well, and that's why this is coming out for me, but you're saying like, hey, look, I have this cool ass dragon and this cool ass fire to show you guys. You want to see a magic trick? Like, sorry, anyways, that was corny. Everyone's probably clicking off the reading right now. But anyways, yes, you have value in what you can show. Okay, you just have to step into your power and know that there's things that you create that a lot of people would value more than you think they would. Okay. There's more things that you can, I mean, and even saying, or the speaking part might not even be just music. It could be writing too. It could be other forms of communication, right? It doesn't just have to be music. It could be any hobby, like I was saying before, but yeah, I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit here, pile number 3s, but like I said, you have, like I explained before, a hammer reading where it's a very similar message repeated across every single card that comes through, okay? Let's see if there's any other messages here before I go on to the advice section. I think another thing I'm being told for you, pile number 3, is that your Regina talked about leadership here. That's one of the taglines for that card. I almost wonder too if in your career you're more suited for a leadership position than you think you are. If you're coming across an area or a matter in your work, pile number 3 is where there's a management position open and you think you might be, or you technically have the qualifications for it, I would go for it, pile number 3 is. I think you're a better leader than you think you are. Okay? I think you would manage people and manage projects a lot better than you think you would. That type of thing. There's something here about management. It could even be going your own way, creating your own business, being a leader in some way, having the strength to set out. I mean, even with the ship here, I get like Viking vibes. You know how like the Vikings went across the Atlantic over to, well, first Iceland, then Greenland, and then North America, technically, at Lonzo Meadows in Canada, right? Embodying the energy of being willing to venture out, even if we're on, a bit of stormy seas, okay? But knowing that we have value and knowing that we have the strength to overcome those turbulent seas and get to the goal that we're seeking, okay? That type of thing. Let's see if there's anything other intuitive that's popping out for you, pile number 3. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm repeating a lot, but you have a pretty repetitive reading here. Very strongly emphasized, I guess, as I would say. See, any other intuitive messages for you? Yeah, leadership, definitely. Another thing that's popping out is if there's areas of your life where you know that there's something wrong being done, Spirit is encouraging you to point out wrongs more than you have before. Not that it's your fault that the wrong has been done. It's just that I think people would listen to you more than you think they would. Okay. So like, let's say if there's like an ethical concern at your workplace, maybe that's a good example, and you're afraid to speak out because you're afraid of getting, you're afraid of getting repercussions for speaking out. I think it'll go a lot better than you think it would. Okay. Unfortunately, a lot of times in life, is it by Tolkien? There's a quote by, is it Tolkien? It might be Tolkien. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but the quote goes, the only reason evil gets away with what it does is when good people stand by and do nothing. I'm probably butchering it a little bit, but that's generally the gist of the quote. Evil can only occur when good people stand by and do nothing. Okay, so if there's something ethically going wrong in your life somewhere, Spirit is encouraging you to speak up more about it, okay? Just in general, though, for you, pile number 3. Speak up more. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. What's holding you back is a lack of confidence in yourself, is how I would summarize what's going on here, okay? Be more confident. See more value in yourself, okay? Be willing to explore your emotions. Be willing to strike more of a balance between listening and speaking, okay? So let's get on to your advice part of your reading for today. I'm going to shuffle your deck here in 1 second. Clear the board. We have your advice cards, and then we'll shuffle your deck. Excuse me. There we go. All right, Spirit, for my lovely pile number 3s, could you give them advice on this area of speaking out more and being seen? What advice would you give my pile? Oh, okay, well, there's one. Oh, group dynamics. Okay, yep, that's the 3 of Cups reversed. 3 of Cups reversed. We already got a little bit of a spoiler alert. Oop, we'll talk about that in a second. 2, 3, and that one's calling our name right there. Okay. Oracle cards. Advice. How to overcome this. Surrender. Surrender to prayer. Give yourself over completely to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard throughout the universe, and answers and support will arrive. Especially if there's like an ethical thing you're afraid about speaking up about, pile number 3s, just know that Spirit has your back and the universe has your back, okay? If it's a fear of putting yourself out there more, know that the universe has your back in terms of, you know, the imagery I'm being told is it's like there's an audience waiting for you to applaud you. It's just that you haven't had the strength or the confidence to go up on the stage yet. It's like the universe is saying there's an audience out there for you that would love what you would put out there, okay? They're waiting for you. There's something about what you create or what you say that can touch a lot of hearts, and there's a lot of hearts willing out there in the universe to listen. It's just you have to have the strength to open your mouth in the first place, okay? So just know that the universe has your back in this area, whether it be speaking up about something that isn't right or speaking up about putting yourself out there more, okay? Be more confident. Your oracle card from Nature's Whispers is acceptance of love. It's kind of like what I was saying about that audience. There's a lot of people out there that would love or would find a lot of value in what you have to say, pile number 3s. Maybe there's almost a fear of, how do I put that? Like a fear of rejection? That might be the main issue here, really, is a fear of rejection, pile number 3s. Could even be related to romantic love, too. Maybe you're afraid of putting yourself out there in terms of romantic relationships, too. Maybe you're afraid to go back on the dating scene if you're single. Maybe if you're in a relationship, there's something about you fear accepting love. You fear something in that area. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. And then your Healing Spirits Oracle is lost but never alone. That's what I was saying before with that audience. Okay? You're not alone. You have your spirit team behind you, pile number 3s. You have people out there that are willing to listen to you. You know, if it's an ethical thing, the universe has karmic justice waiting for you. It's just that you have to be the lever that, or the person that pulls the lever to get the thing going in motion, okay? You have to have the strength to pull that lever to try, okay? And then your tarot cards, we already saw a sneak peek with the 3 of Visions or Cups reversed. This is group dynamics, social gatherings in a negative aspect because it's reversed, okay? Something's not right in either a group that you're in, could be a job or a social group. It could be in general, a lack of group cohesion, like we were saying. You're afraid to put yourself out there even though there is a group waiting for you. Like that audience, like I was saying, okay? We have the Hangman again. You just got that in the last section. Different perspectives, okay? Seeing things differently. Could be even they're saying, too, there's value in the perspectives that you bring to the table that are different from other people's perspectives, okay? We have the 7 of Challenges, the 7 of Swords, sneaky, sneaky. This is the card of people trying to get away with things or deception. We have foxes running away from from camp with the, let's see, there's an accordion, a teacup, and it looks like a bag, maybe a coin purse. Some trickery afoot. We'll talk about that in a second. And then we also have the Ace of Spells reversed, Ace of Wands reversed. Ace of Wands reversed is all about feeling like we don't have the spark we need for something. Usually fire is the element of the wand suit. That's about creative passions. That's about willpower, confidence, things like that, okay? So pile number 3 is advice on this area about speaking out more, okay? We already talked about the universe has your back. I mean, I already kind of went on a monologue about that, so I won't repeat that one too much, all right? But put yourself out there. The universe has your back in terms of karma and having an audience for you with your, let's say it's a creative project you want to put out there. Just know you're supported spiritually, okay? Number 2, be willing to accept love. Be willing to accept applause. Be willing to accept people that are willing to give you their ear, okay? There's a lot more out there, or a lot more people out there that are willing to listen than you think they are, okay? That's acceptance of love. You know, could even be romantic relationships too. Maybe you feel you don't deserve love. That might be the core issue here. But what Spirit is saying is that you do. You do deserve love. You do deserve, you know, once again, you're my corny reading, I'm sorry, but you know, finding your tree in the forest, or finding your forest nymph and loving each other. Like, there's a forest nymph or a tree man out there for you. Sorry, that's really corny, but you know, that's what the card looks like. So there's a significant other for you out there, if it's a romantic thing that we're talking about here, depending on what applies most to you in this general reading, of course. Lost but never alone. Okay. It could even be in your life, pile number 3, is you tended to keep to yourself a lot. Maybe you're a bit of a lone wolf. Okay. And what Spirit is saying is, part of advice is to lean more into group dynamics here, especially with that 3 of Cups reversed. Lean more into social groups. It could even be being a lone wolf. You're not even heard because you're not around a lot of other people much. Okay. So part of this advice could be, you know, be a little bit more social, be more willing to speak to people. Of course, you know, some of us struggle with social anxiety. I 100% get that myself. I've struggled with that myself. But I think people are a lot more willing to listen and value you than you think they are, okay? I know I've said that a million times before, but that's kind of what lost but never alone is, okay? Yes, 3 of Cups reversed is something about group dynamics in a negative way. Lean more into socializing. Okay. Lean more into finding your tribe, so to speak. Lean more into stepping away from negative social groups that maybe don't listen to you. Maybe that's part of the issue, is you don't think you're worth listening to because people have tried to show you that, even though that's not the objective truth, okay? Find friends that do listen to you and support you. All right. We already talked about, you know, suspension is the Hanged Man. That's the card of perspective. What would it look like if I looked at it from a different way? All right. You know, and it's funny too, because he's encased in amber, and amber is, as you all know, like, you've ever seen like fossils in amber. Amber is a great preservative. So that speaks to me of time. You know, maybe even just time gives you a different perspective. Thinking about things differently as you age than the way that you thought about them before. Okay. Trying to think what's another good example. Viewing yourself in a different way, or maybe even being around people with different perspectives too. Maybe if you're currently in a negative social group, finding a tribe, so to speak, that's better for you and more connected with you will make you see yourself in a more positive light because they'll be more receptive to you. Okay. And, you know, and then interestingly enough, we have the 7 of Swords, or challenges, over here with the foxes at the camp getting away with things. Like I said, that's the card of deception. That's the card of trickery, okay? Not only is that maybe speaking about deceiving yourself in terms of not thinking you have as much value as you actually do, okay? It could also be that maybe the reason you've been conditioned to think this way about yourself, feeling like you don't have enough value, is because there are people in your life that have tried to deceive you so far in terms of your value. You know, unfortunately, you know, in life, we all know there's toxic and negative people out there. That's just how humanity works. That's just how life works, right? But just because people treat you a certain way doesn't mean that their word is God, okay? It could even, you know, sometimes people are nasty to you because of jealousy. Sometimes people put you down because they wish they could do what you could do, okay? You know, maybe even if people have tried to put you down for your creative work, it's more a them problem than it's a you problem, is what Spirit is saying, okay? they're trying to deceive themselves and they're trying to deceive you. So don't listen to other people in terms of when they put you down, okay? Don't listen to the deception, all right? And then the Ace of Wands reversed, like I said, is asking more for following. It's twofold. Number one, it's feeling like there's a lack of a spark in some area, but the Ace of Wands reversed too could also be asking you to look for more of a spark in things than you have been, okay? That speaks to me of maybe trying to see more value in what you do than you have, okay? There's more fire, there's more passion, there's more value in places that you're not looking, okay? Pile number 3s. Let's see if there's anything else I see here for you before I sign off with your reading for today. Once again, sorry for all the corniness and repetition, but this is a hammer reading. A lot of messages are similar, and I guess I'm feeling corny today with you, pile number 3. So it could be maybe that's like I said before, a match for your humor. Spirit will give the message in the way it's intended to be received. Okay. Yeah, lean more into social groups. Find your tribe. Get different perspectives on things. Okay, and be willing to view yourself with a different perspective than you have in the past. Be willing to accept love. Be willing to step onto the stage for that audience that's just waiting for you, okay? Same thing too with that 7 of Swords we talked about. If this is like an ethical thing that you're afraid to speak up about because you're afraid of repercussions, just know that you're right in thinking that there's a deception or a trickery here with that 7 of Swords, okay? Like we said, evil only succeeds when good people stand by and do nothing. So, speak out. Speak your truth. Be willing to put yourself out there. Be willing to accept an audience that is willing and ready to love what you put out there, okay? And in terms of creative projects, be willing to accept romantic love if that's, you know, maybe more of the interpretation for you specifically. And just know that you don't have to be quiet, okay? So pile number 3 is I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye.